All right, check this out. This is frightening.
A senior Secret Service official tells NBC News that employees received at least 3 emails, including one before the insurrection, instructing them to preserve all records on their electronic devices. That's as clear as it gets. The first came in early December of 2020, according to the source, ahead of a pre-planned data migration that would essentially restore all devices to their factory settings. The next came in January, though the exact date is unclear. Both emails reportedly included reminders that federal employees have a responsibility to preserve their records and included instructions on how to do so. Though neither email mentioned the insurrection, a third email on February 4th reportedly instructed all employees to preserve communications specific to January 6th. By that point, several congressional committees had already requested Secret Service records from that day. But the agency claims the data migration had already taken place by then, and all relevant text messages were erased.
I mean, this makes Rosemary Woods missing 8 minutes of Nixon's White House tapes look stupid. You're talking about a deletion of 3 hours worth of text messages between Secret Service agents, 24 of them. Now, we do know that some Secret Service agents were in a SCIF, a secure location. And so we know that their phones were not part of the 24 that, we know that their phones, if they are part of the 24 Secret Service agents who were told to preserve all text messages, didn't have any that were responsive to the subpoena for text messages on January 6th. But that doesn't mean they weren't responsive on January 5th or before or after. And why? Oh, because in the SCIF, you're not allowed to bring a cell phone. That's why. That's why I've concluded that those particular 3 or 4 officers, their cell phones wouldn't have text messages on them. So what about the other 20? Okay. And now we know that whistleblowers have become involved, and that before January 6th, 2 emails were sent to all secret. This is a law enforcement agency. Okay. You know what this is like? This is like erasing your body cam footage. Okay. Just so you could understand the import of what they've done here. So they got a message, an email from the Secret Service, senior Secret Service officials saying that on December 9th, saying that you need to preserve all your email, all your text messages on your phone, all kinds of data on your phone, because we're going to be doing a migration. You know what that's fancy for? We're going to take your phones back to factory settings. Now, has anybody ever done that with your computer? Don't do it. It's horrific. It's horrific. You will not have access to your stuff. But apparently, there's backup somewhere. It's a law enforcement agency. I mean, I'm not, a metadata specialist or anything like that. But I do have to know basic crap in order to do this. And why in the hell would they be taking their phones back to factory settings? But that's what the email said that they were going to be doing with these Secret Service phones. So they got a heads up that was going to happen on December 9th. They got a follow-up email, and this is interesting. They got a follow-up email January of 2021. You know what's missing? The date. Just January 2021. That's the only information that I have. They don't mention the date. Now, what's interesting is Congress requested 5 committee chairmen. This was before the January 6th committee was even the January 6th Select Committee. But January 16th, 10 days after January 6th, 5 heads of committees requested that the Secret Service preserve all documents that would be responsive to January 5th or January 6th. So January 16th, 10 days after the 6th, that's when Congress made the request. The migration or the factory settings reset happened 10 days after that, on January 26th. And apparently nobody can retrieve any of those texts. Nobody understood what these December 9th or this random January 2021, back your stuff up because we're going to be doing something over here with your data. And then again, they got another email, a third email on February 4th, 2021, instructing them to preserve all communications, everything specific to January 6th. This is a law enforcement agency, really? All right. So let me tell you this. The Inspector General over there at the Department of Homeland Security, this is a Trump appointee. You understand? This is a guy who came from Arizona. His name's Joseph Kufari. And there was so much disgusting crap going on inside the Department of Homeland Security, before Joseph Kufari got there, believe it or not. The only reason why Joseph Kufari was plucked out of obscurity and taken from Arizona on Doug Ducey's recommendation to Donald Trump to put him in charge of Homeland Security is because the previous guy, whose name was Kelly, not General Kelly, but a different Kelly, he had created so much turf wars and so much contretemps and so much chaos inside the Department of Homeland Security. You might remember something to do with the immigration and the caging of children. Remember all that? Yeah. So there was so much disgusting behavior inside the Department of Homeland Security that people inside the Department of Homeland Security were saying, you have to get somebody new. You have to put somebody in here. And this guy that is currently in place now is the Trump appointee that was put in place after complete and utter chaos inside the Department of Homeland Security. Now, he had said that nothing was lost and that he was able to, he had said that he asked the Secret Service, which falls into the Department of Homeland Security, and that Secret Service had told him at Homeland, the main portion, that there was nothing lost, that they had everything and not to worry. And now he's saying they don't have anything. I can't produce anything but one text message. And the one text message that he was able to get from Secret Service was a text message between the Capitol Police and Secret Service where Capitol Police were saying, holy crap, help us, or something to that effect. This is a cover-up. This is not a mistake. This is not an oversight. The agents who have become so political, now you know that they took the Ornato guy, okay, who was Trump's detail head, and they gave him the political job of Deputy White House Chief of Staff to politicize the Secret Service and make the Secret Service responsive to Donald Trump, not responsive to the Constitution, but responsive to Donald Trump, to make the Secret Service the SS. You understand? Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.